Mr. Perez, before you retire to your seat or other parts of the room, I did want to present you with something, okay? So we want to thank you and Pechanga for an opportunity for us to meet here. A well-nourished oak tree and its acorn fruit is the symbol of the Pechanga Band. The identity and character of the Pechanga Band is strength, wisdom, longevity, and determination. So we want to let you know that we appreciate the opportunity to collaborate with Pechanga. And in that spirit, the first and historic first ever meeting on tribal land, we really appreciate. In that spirit, Governor Newsom has provided us with a declaration I'd like to read and then present to you. And this is dated September 9, 2024, Office of the Governor, California State Athletic Commission, and Pechanga Tribal Partnership is how it's titled. On behalf of the state of California, I am pleased to commemorate the historic partnership between the California State Athletic Commission and the Pechanga Band of Indians. The Pechanga Band of Indians has built a reputation as a tribal nation with a solid foundation of cultural values, integrity, and ingenuity in economic development. Surviving through successive waves of colonization and relocation, the tribe has proven itself to be resilient against forces that threatened its very existence, finding a path toward a brighter future for its citizens. The California State Athletic Commission has a long history of working to facilitate events on tribal lands, most notably with the Pechanga Band of Indians. In fact, the commission regulated its first event in partnership with Pechanga in 1999. Since that time, the commission has regulated 97 events on Pechanga tribal lands, with the 98th event taking place just this week. As we continue to bolster our government-to-government relations with the 109 tribal nations of California, we are heartened by the efforts of our boards and commissions to meet tribal nations where they are and to adjust their practices to better reflect a relationship of mutual respect and collaboration. In this spirit, I wish all who are attending the commission's first ever meeting on tribal lands in the ancestral homelands of the Pechanga Band of Indians a productive and successful session. And this is signed sincerely, Gavin Newsom, Governor of California. So we'd like to present this to you and maybe take a picture, and perhaps all of our commissioners can come around and take a picture as well.
Yes, sir.
I was doing that.
Commissioner DeMars. Yes, sir.
I don't think that was nearly enough time with the camera. The social media people go up high and low and, different angles and turn it upside down, portrait, all of that. We didn't get any of that. Okay, I'm gonna move forward and continue with opening comments. I do want to acknowledge.
Mr. Chair, if we may, could we go ahead and do a roll call and
Oh, I'm
establish
sorry,
a quorum?
yes. So we can establish a quorum.
Okay, Commissioner Gruelle.
Aye.
Dr. Williams. Vice Chair and Dr. Williams,
Present.
Commissioner Fiore,
Present.
Commissioner DeMars,
Present.
Commissioner Hendrickson's on Zoom, I think.
Here.
Okay, exactly. Sir, we have 4 present, 1 on Zoom. We have a quorum.
Okay. So now I'll continue with opening comments. I wanted to first acknowledge the absence of our chairman, Peter Villegas. I did speak with him this morning. And Peter wanted to make sure that I sent everyone his regards. He wishes he could be here. And he wants to provide best wishes for a productive meeting today and going forward. And so, again, we all wish him the best in a speedy recovery. He's been under the weather. And so we're looking forward to his quick and full recovery. And I just had a couple of other points I wanted to make in terms of opening comments. One was to congratulate the commission and primarily Andy Foster, but really the entire commission, everyone who works in concert with Andy on all of the events and all of the activities that go on in between events, as the commission was awarded the North American Boxing Federation Commission of the Year again for 2024. And I believe Andy told me that that was 10 years running that we've accomplished that. So I just want to make a round of applause and say thanks. And then, Andy, you may be able to comment very briefly on the one other item that I wanted to at least acknowledge, and that was the passing of that SB 1456, which you said passed unanimously. And so you can just give us a little bit of background on that.
Yes, Vice Chair, Dr. Williams, SB 1456, Senator Ashby's sunset bill for the commission passed unanimously, both chambers. The amendments went in the assembly. And we didn't get on consent when it came back to the Senate on literally the last day of session. So I had to show up on the last day of session, which was fine. It's great. And the one hearing item was with the commission. I showed up, answered questions, and it passed. And it is now being enrolled and it'll be sent to Governor Newsom's desk soon.
Great. So again, those are all the comments that I had. I think we can go ahead and get started with the agenda. And the first item I have is the review and possible action to approve the June 10, 2024 commission meeting minutes. And so would anyone like to make a motion? Thank you, Commissioner Gruelle. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any comments?
I do have 2 questions on that. There was one on page 6 where USA Boxing said they had 7 years of data on wearing headgear and they'd like to submit that data to the commission. Did we ever get that data?
I did not.
Oh, okay. And then I think it was Commissioner Wetch had a question about trying to read, this was also on page 6, about getting more information on benefits. Did we ever get that information? It's on page 6 of the minutes, not page 6 of all the documents we got.
We're working on that.
Huh.
We have followed up on that, so we should have that, but I haven't got, that's a Beth Harrington, a benefit resources thing.
Okay,
Yes.
just wondering if you got that, that's all.
Okay. Any other comments? Do I need to take any public comments? on
Yes,
this?
if we could take, make it available for public comment here in the room and then also on Zoom.
Okay, so first, starting here in the room, any public comments on the meeting minutes from June 10th, 2024? Okay, and then if we could open up to any comments from anyone who's attending on Zoom from the meeting minutes?
If you have a public comment on Zoom, you will need to raise your Zoom hand. Reminder, public comments are limited to 2 minutes if you have one. Vice Chair Dr. Williams, I see no hands raised on Zoom for public comments.
Okay, then we can go ahead and move forward with the vote to accept the motion. Andy, you want to
Yes,
call
sir.
the roll?
Commissioner Gruelle.
Aye.
Commissioner Fiore,
Aye.
Commissioner Dr. DeMars,
Aye.
Commissioner Hendrickson,
Aye.
Vice Chair and Dr. Williams.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0, sir.
Okay, perfect. All right, well, we can move on to item 6 on the agenda, which is discussion regarding ways the commission can continue to build and maintain relationships with the tribal councils and gaming commissions in California.
Um, Well, that was when we started with that. Got it. Okay. This is,
Jacob Mejia, VP of Public Affairs for Pechanga. Commissioners, as Mr. Perez said a moment ago, it's an honor to have you here. So I wear a couple of hats, VP of Public Affairs for Pechanga, and I'm also the Executive Director of a coalition of tribal governments here in Southern California called the Tribal Alliance of Sovereign Indian Nations. Our members include Agua Caliente out in Palm Springs, Pechanga, Morongo, San Manuel, the San Ynez Band of Chumash Indians, the Cahuilla Band of Indians, the Chemehuevi Indian tribe, all the way out at Lake Havasu, Santa Rosa Band of Cahuilla Indians, and the Saboba Band of Luceño Indians, the Torres Martinez Desert Cahuilla, and the 29 Palms Band of Mission Indians. You probably recognize some of those names because you've regulated events at some of those different facilities. Appreciate the commission having this historic meeting here on tribal lands for the first time. Hopefully this is first of many to come at different reservations throughout the state of California. I just want to say a couple words to help contextualize and then offer up a couple of suggestions. Number one, statewide, there are 109 federally recognized tribal governments, all the way from Northern California and further south. I want to say is the Hamul Indian Village. Of those 109 tribes, 66 operate tribal casinos. And as you can appreciate, they vary in size from places like Pechanga and Morongo and others, all the way down to very small tribal casinos that literally have maybe 100 slot machines, if that, namely to provide jobs for tribal members and tribal citizens. Statewide, tribal gaming last year had an overall economic impact of $17.2 billion in the state of California, employing over 85,000 Californians on a statewide basis, who earned more than $5 billion, generating over $3.4 billion in federal, state, and local income taxes. This is a very important segment of the overall California economy. And obviously that's not to make mention of literally the thousands of scholarships and native students that are now going to college as a result of revenues derived from tribal gaming, and healthcare for tribal people, all on a statewide basis. Obviously, it isn't completely equal. There's some communities that still need some more help, and tribal leaders are doing what they can and figuring out ways to supporting those various tribal communities. We had a really good conversation with Commissioner Gruelle and Mr. Foster a couple of months ago, I want to say, for an event here. Wonderful, very insightful. And the board has been talking about what are ways to work with the commission, not only directly Pechanga, more broadly, and would like to suggest to you and invite you to, I think as Vice Chair Dr. Williams said as you were reading the resolution, meet the tribes where they are. Go meet the tribes where they are. They have associations, right? TASIN, the Tribal Alliance, we'd invite you all to come down and speak with TASIN. Happy to get you on that agenda. Likewise, for the statewide body, the California Nations Indian Gaming Association, which is now composed of, I think, 55 tribes on a statewide basis. They meet every couple of months. Would love to work with the commission to create an opportunity to have you guys on the agenda for that meeting as well. I know tribal leadership would be very interested to figure out ways as well to work with the commission. We were learning a little bit earlier today about some of the educational opportunities that you've got and trainings to support the commission for tribal people. Commissioner mentioned, very excited, there's some folks from down south who are participating in some of those trainings. So I'm sure tribal leadership statewide would love to learn more about that. And so again, would love to invite you out to meet with those associations and coordinate with whomever would be appropriate from the commission to make that happen. But just wanted to offer up those words and also say again, thank you so much for coming down here to Pechanga specifically and more generally for looking to engage with Indian country. So thank you very much.
Thank you. So first, any of the other commissioners have comments or statement? I know you've had some discussions and talks, so would you want to
I
go
would
first?
defer to Commissioner DeBars, who's
Mhm.
also been working with me as on a subcommittee. We recently had a meeting with the governor's tribal affairs secretary. It's the first time a governor has elevated that position to a cabinet level. And what I found helpful, and I think that the commission has done a great job in the past, but really understanding some of the cultural significances and nuances on how we can better approach these tribes that we're doing events on their properties. And I know that we were given kind of a, I don't call it cheat sheet, but some basics on best practices. And I would like to see us pushing that information out to CSAC personnel before they arrive on tribal properties in the future, just so they can have a better sense of sort of all the best practices they can be following in these interactions.
And I would say we're really excited to be working with you. I'm sure that Andy will take you up on the opportunity to speak. And we do understand that it's a nation-to-nation relationship. And I'm hoping that, as Commissioner Gruelle says, that the education would go both ways. We have, and I said this in a meeting before, it's not bragging if you can back it up. We have absolutely a fabulous program for inspectors and officials, judges, referees for training. And I'm sure that's something I know that's something that's being taken advantage of, and that's an opportunity for you all to learn from us. And there's a lot that we could learn from you, as Commissioner Gruelle says. So if we screw up in things on tribal land, it was not deliberate.
Commissioner Fiore, any comments from your standpoint?
I just want to say it's a real honor to have us here today. I flew in from San Francisco this morning at 4 a.m. and I wouldn't have missed this for the world. So thank you, and we're thrilled, and we're looking forward to growing together and learning from you.
And Commissioner Hendrickson, is he on Zoom?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I am.
Okay, Commissioner Henderson, if you have any words, we'd love to hear from you as well.
No, to echo what Ron said, I apologize I couldn't be there today, but yes, honored to be there with you guys and have this opportunity. As a commission, we're looking forward to more of this and expanding what we've done already on your great land. So appreciate you guys opening up us with open arms, and looking forward to a great day.
I would agree. And I would just round out the commissioner comments by saying, likewise, I feel the same way. I think that people have already expressed some specific recommendations. But I think just in general, the spirit is one of a desire to continue and to grow and to look for additional paths forward. And so anything we can do to help facilitate that, we want to do. So thank you very much for the opportunity. Thanks for all that you've done to welcome us today and in the other relationships that we've had, but we want to continue to grow this. We want to find additional paths forward. So thank you. Yeah. Are there any additional comments from the public on this particular item? And we'll start with the public that's here present in the room with us. Would anyone like to share anything, have any comments? Okay, and then if not, we can open it up to those individuals who are on Zoom. Oh,
If
we
you're
do?
on-
Okay, I'm sorry, we do have one here.
Ray, go to the microphone at the podium, please.
Ray Corona, I'm a professional referee and speaking on behalf of the boxing, we love it here and we appreciate you having.
Sir, can you speak into the microphone?
Excuse me?
Speak into the microphone.
I was telling them, from the boxing officials, the MMA officials, we appreciate you having us here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ray. Okay, and now I think we can move on to any individuals on the Zoom who would like to make a comment or have anything else to add.
If you're on Zoom and you have a public comment, now is the time for you to raise your Zoom hand. Remember, public comments are limited to 2 minutes. I see no public comments on Zoom. Vice Chair Dr. Williams.
Okay, so again, I think we'll move on to the next item, but again, I think this is really special. I think it's important. It's important to us, and I would just reinforce everything that has been said and let you know how much that comes from the heart and how much we want to work to continue this relationship. So having said that, we can move on to our executive officers report.
Mr. Chair.
Oh, okay.
If it's possible, could you recall item 5?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
take that
I'm
up
sorry,
this
I
time?
missed that. So item 5 is discussion and review and possible action regarding the adoption of the revised unified rules of mixed martial arts as adopted by the Association of Boxing Commissions at their annual meeting in August 2024. So Andy, you can fill us in on where we are with that.
Yes, Vice Chair Dr. Williams, as this commission knows, we talked about this in the spring, before I went and submitted. I chair on behalf of California, the Rules Committee for Mixed Martial Arts. And the Rules Committee, recommended getting rid of the 12-6 elbow, which has long been somewhat of a ridiculous foul because you can't really assess it. The referee can't really assess that in real time. And when it is assessed, it's assessed wrong. And it's just been an interesting, but it's not been an issue. The bigger change was the grounded fighter. The grounded fighter, that's a substantive change. That is a substantive change. And as I mentioned it in Louisville, and I will mention to the commission today, this is a less restrictive rule set. It is less restrictive. There is no doubt about it. Our theory is that if you take away putting your hand on the ground because you know you'll get kneed or kicked, we don't think fighters will do that anymore. We think they'll do something else, probably use that hand to protect their head or take a knee. They'll do something else. But everybody in this room has saw this hand being played. For 25 years, we've watched this. And it's going up and down, and it's caused a lot of damage to a lot of fighters. So while this is less restrictive, I think in a way, in time, it will actually become safer because the referees it will be easier to officiate, and fighters will have more clarity on when they're safe or not. But I would be remiss if I did not tell the commissioners this is a less restrictive rule set for the definition of a grounded fighter. And I am recommending the commission approve the unified rules of boxing's changes with the removal of the 12-6 elbow as a foul and the change in the definition of a grounded fighter.
Okay, so to be clear for the commissioners, Andy's recommendation is to adopt the revised rules. Do I hear a motion one way or the other?
I move to adopt the revised rules.
Is there a second? Okay, so it's been moved and seconded. Are there any comments from the commissioners, any discussion from the commissioners?
I have a question about it. When we were at the Bellator rules meetings, one of the fighters asked if that had taken effect already, which of course hasn't. But we have plans for like at every fight telling people this happens November 1st, because I know all of you who are officials know people don't always pay attention. So maybe you have to tell people 50 or 60 times. I mean, what's the plan for making sure that fighters know this takes effect November 1st? Yes?
That's an excellent question, and Commissioner DeMars, and in fact, just on Friday, before I came to Southern California, Caesar, the videographer, and myself, and Mike Beltran, the referee, and Uriah Faber, the fighter, and Sar Charles, the fighter, was at Team Alpha Male in Sacramento filming an informational, educational video that will probably be ready in about a month, maybe less time. But once we get that out there, we'll utilize our social media channels and all the folks we know to get this information out. Because it's not just a change for California, it's a change for essentially the entire world minus Asia. So we're trying to get this change out because the grounded fighter is a substantive change.
All right, any other comments or discussion from the commission?
I actually do have a suggestion about that. Do we have we must have an email list of everybody who's like a coach or quarterman,
We
right?
do.
Because that would be a good thing because they'll probably be more likely to read it. Well, hopefully.
We're gonna send that out, plus we're gonna send the video with it. So. Of that. We tried to make the video pretty quick so you can watch it within like 5 minutes or less.
Okay. All right, so we've had comments from the commissioners. Is there any public comment on this topic? First here in the room. Okay, so no public comment in the room. Is there any public comment from anyone on Zoom?
If you're on Zoom and you have a public comment, now is the time to raise your Zoom hand. We have no public comments on Zoom. Vice Chair Dr. Williams.
Okay, so Andy, you want to call the vote?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Gruelle,
Aye.
Commissioner Fiore,
Aye.
Commissioner Dr. DeMars,
Aye.
Commissioner Hendrickson,
Aye.
Vice Chair Dr. Williams.
Aye.
The new rule passed 5-0, sir.
Okay. Thanks, Andy. So now I gotta look up at Ken every time I move to another agenda item. Now, we can go ahead and move on to the executive officer's report.
Yes, Dr. Williams, I'll start with the budget report. We're a little early into this fiscal year, so it's a little difficult to make any kind of projections, but right now the commission's deposited $347,000. We're on track right now. It's hard to tell at this time. I do know, I'm not able to speak publicly, but I do know that there's 2 major events coming before the end of the half of the fiscal year, so before December 31st. So those will bill the commissioners, that will add significant revenue to the commission. The neurological fund, as you know, Dr. Williams, the contract was approved for the data crunching with the data that we have. I want to thank the Department of Consumer Affairs for helping with that. Sir, and I'll just take a moment to say Consumer Affairs has been just incredibly helpful to this commission across an entire spectrum of things that we want to do. And it's been so helpful for Mr. Mejia to tell us what we need to do to help with the tribes. But as it relates to like the budget, we pay this pro rata to the department, and I feel like we get so much value from that. And so the department has approved all of these trips that's over the years that has allowed us to make these relationships and to have these events. And I just think that Consumer Affairs should get some degree of credit today for all the help that they've provided this commission. So I wanted to point that out. And they helped with the neurological fund, the contract thing at the very end. And then the Boxers Pension Fund, we have deposited $17,000. And look at that, commissioners, we've deposited $10,000 to the MMA pension fund through this fiscal year. So we had some from the earlier part from when it started. That fund is growing. The pension investment account is 4.65 million. As you all know, it had went down to about 4.3 million, but with investment increases and with new deposits, it's back up to 4.6 million. I will tell you that moving on to Part B, Patricia and I have been working with various parts of Consumer Affairs to get the license plate that the commission voted in place. We are really, really close with that. And I feel very, very confident at the next meeting, we can say to this commission that that's been submitted to, Department of Motor Vehicles. There's a lot of pieces to this. You have to get the marking materials created. You have to get a website created. You have to get all of the things that you need to do this project before it's submitted to DMV. Then once we submit it to DMV, then they will approve or deny it. But we would like to get everything as perfect as we can on our side so that we have a high chance of getting it approved. Because once we get it approved, then we can set it out there through our social media channels to see if people were interested in buying it. If we sell 7,500 of them, pre-orders, DMV has said that they'll make it. And if they make it, then there's never been a plate made that has been retired. So if it gets made, it's more than likely it will continue. And that will be a continual stream of revenue for the pension funds for fighters for the rest, for in perpetuity, for a long, long period of time, in addition to the tickets. Commissioners, I know I've told you this a million times. I'll tell you again, tickets were what I thought to be a pretty stable revenue stream until COVID happened. And then when COVID happened and we didn't sell any tickets for a long time, that the fragility of that model was exposed. People usually renew their license plates. I mean, usually it's more, I think it's more stable than even ticket sales. And if we can have that stream, and as this commission knows, and we won't talk about it publicly today, but we're talking about another stream of revenue. We're talking about ways where these fighters, when they turn 50 years old, will have sizable money. If we can make this happen, sizable money. And that's kind of the goal. And Commissioner DeMars, you had mentioned about looking into retroactivity. That's something that I would like to explore. Fighters that came before, because we have a lot of fighters who are showing up, especially mixed martial arts fighters, because the boxing fund has been in place so long. Mixed martial arts fighters came, they're having issues. It's showing up now. And I would like to explore something in the future about doing something with that, with some of this revenue if we get this done. But by the December meeting, this will be done and submitted to DMV. And this needs to be the big project for 2025, in my view, because this has long-standing implications for our fighters. And commissioners, this is the only state that could pull something like this off. We have enough cars. There's enough cars. There's 39 million cars in California. This is enough cars.
And I guess ask a question now, or do I need to wait till your report's over?
Oh, no, go ahead.
Are there restrictions at the state level on promoting this? So like, could we get some people who were fighters to come out and promote it? Could we get some people at the events to say, you know, if you're in the first 75, 100, 10,000 to sign up, you can win this or that? Are there?
There's
You know, Ken?
restrictions until they approve it. Then
Right.
once they approve it, then we can market it however we, and I think it has to be within the auspices of the marketing scheme. But we can market it and we can try to get them to buy it. But until it's approved, it's all just a concept. So that's my report on the license plate. Dr. Williams, now we'll move to CAMO's, to the California Amateur Mixed Martial Arts Organization, JT Steele. I don't know if JT's online or if he's in person. I don't have my glasses on.
JT is not online.
Okay. Well, then I'll move to the next one. USA Boxing, do they have somebody online or in person?
I do not see Andrew or Mike.
Okay, that's interesting. How about Joe Stevenson?
Joe Stevenson is here online. Joe, you can unmute. He's working on that.
Right. Good evening or good morning, everyone. Sorry I couldn't be there in person. Um, I have, I just got back from Monterrey, Mexico. The United States team for the first time and that I can recall won the Pan American championships 18 and up. So very excited about that. I was gone in Santiago for 8 days. According to the report, I have got the here's the event since the last California Athletic Commission meeting, July 19th, 2024, IFS 77 in Anaheim, California. We had 11 bouts, 1 injury due to a foot contusion after striking the knee of a 16-year-old male. Upcoming events, September 21st, 2024, we have Hendo's Future Champions scheduled in Temecula, California. There is scheduled, I believe, 21 bouts. October 5th, King of the Cage in San Manuel Stadium in San Bernardino, California, will be hosting its first event with youth contestants. We're very excited about that. We've got a big outreach of the community in the local area. A lot of MMA started here in Southern California at Saboba, and a lot of these tribes helped bring it to fruition, and very excited to be a part of that. Important information, the USFL took 4th place in the IMAF World Championships. It was the largest tournament ever held in the history for international competition. I believe it was over 800 competitors of the kids. Some things that I did not get to add to this paper because of my traveling. The Cedars-Sinai Pearl and Job Institute survey. It was a double-blind survey spearheaded by Dr. Jeffrey Fujimoto, is now been published. I believe it was at the Convention for the Ringside Physicians, and it helps prove that the resilience through adversity in these youth competitors is lowering depression rates, raising self-confidence and their self-esteem, which was just so exciting. And I would love, and I definitely felt like sharing that with you guys. I believe this is the first ever time that it was that way. Coming back from the Pan Americans, the opportunity to get the Pan American or the world here in California was brought to my attention. There would be 37 countries. The fact that they do a tournament in the amateur level helps with developing a actual real goal towards the Olympic, and the sportsmanship is so greater between those countries rather than focusing on being a product, which unfortunately a lot of people do. So that's something I would love to discuss further, maybe on a sidebar with anyone, with you, Andy, please. And then I believe I can negotiate them to adopt our youth rules. They're very similar, but they would just need to have the ability to compete day after day, after being monitored, of course, for any concussions and protocols that would have to be there. They would just need enough notice to be working on visas, because it would be a lot of countries coming, and they definitely showed wanting to come to the U.S. And I told them that California would be a great starting, the Southern California especially, a great position and grow. That concludes everything I say. If anyone has any comments on that.
That was great. Joe, can you maybe just repeat or add, put a little bit more color on that publication related to the adversity, resilience through adversity? I think that's huge. I just want to underscore and highlight and elevate that.
Yeah, it is something we've been working on for a couple years now. a few years. And actually, Dr. Fujimoto finally was able at our last national championships to complete the surveys because, it had to be done a certain way to actually be certified. I sent it to Forrest Griffin at the UFC, and the email back was, "I'm gonna get to it. I'll read it later, Joe. Thanks." And then a half hour later, I get this long email just saying, "Is this telling me what I think it says, Joe, about lowering depression in kids and adolescents growing up and helping them with their self-esteem and everything like that?" And also the injury report is with it, showing that it is well below the standard of even, I believe, high school athletics. So it was very exciting. This is what I do, and this is why I do it, is because you have all these at-risk kids coming into these situations, their parents pass away, something happens, we are, as an instructor of martial arts, it is our responsibility to help develop them and to give them a safe, controlled environment to be able to live life experiences and have multiple angles to approach a situation when something happens, especially when it's like a very high gravity situation. Whereas at school, you have social development with other peers, and in these atmospheres, we're able to bring in the parents and talk to them and discuss it and give a one-on-one situation. And then, hey, well, that's not going to help you. We've always said it, in a tournament, if you lose your first match and it was close or you feel like you got robbed, it's like, hey, you worry about this, you're not going to be able to get your next match. And this just proves it. It is very exciting. We will definitely be starting an at-risk program now. Just needing time to get a hold of that while I'm trying to spearhead the adult team now for the U.S. as well.
Right, great. I would just ask if it's possible, if there's a document that you could send or we could distribute to the commissioners and whomever else is interested, that would be great.
I will send that to Patricia right when.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Andy?
Dr. Williams, now we have Tony Fossum with the IKF. I believe she's online.
Yes, I'm here. Good morning, commissioners, and congratulations on your new partnership with Pechanga. That's exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing how that develops for you. So you have the copy of our report that lists the events that we've had throughout June, July, and August with all of our statistics, how many bouts, how many decisions, suspensions, where those events took place, and the promotions that promoted those events. A couple of things in addition to this report that I just wanted to share with you was that we, the IKF, hosted our 25th anniversary IKF World Classic Muay Thai Kickboxing Tournament in July. It was held at the Westgate Resort in Las Vegas, Nevada, and we attracted approximately 250 fighters, full contact fighters from over 6 different countries. And the tournament took place over 3 days. It was the last weekend in July. And during those 3 days, we sanctioned 125 bouts. It was a great event, very well attended, a lot of excitement about amateur fighters being able to go to Vegas and fight in the fight capital of the world. We had, from the state of California, 31 fighters come home with world tournament titles, which was very exciting. So California was very well represented at that event. And then in addition to that, we had 2 fighters from California who were given the opportunity to fight for IKF certified world amateur titles, and both of them came home victorious with those titles. So that was pretty exciting as well. That was Sebastian Aguilar, who's from 29 Palms, and D'Angelo Gianni from Los Angeles, 2 upcoming fighters who have very, very promising careers. Sebastian is actually getting ready to turn pro, and Gianni is probably not too far behind, maybe within the next couple of years. He probably will turn pro. So very excited to provide this opportunity for fighters to come from all over. Like we said, we had 6 different countries come and attend, to be able to give them a safe platform to showcase their skills on an international stage. And we also offered, for example, for the certified world titles that we did, those fighters got the opportunity to do live stream interviews pre-event. They had press conferences during the event, which of course is great practice for them to get used to that when they do turn pro. And then post-event, they were given opportunities to give live interviews and recorded interviews as well. So we are in the business now of not only providing safe opportunity for these fighters, but we want to build champions from the ground up. We want to have recognizable champions, and that comes into play with our IKF platform, our record keeping. We have rankings that are now connected to BoxRec with our recent partnership with BoxRec, and being able to have people who can utilize both BoxRec and our platform when they're looking for fighters to book on fights, whether they're looking for suspensions, or whoever can fill the bill for their need on their card. So it's pretty exciting to be able to see some of these fighters that we've really built from the ground up, starting out just as young kids, working their way through the amateur ranks, now have gone on to win world amateur titles, and soon to be going on to pro. We also recently sanctioned the Pan American Wushu Sanda Championships, and that was held in Santa Clara. First time having that in California, so that was very exciting as well. The organization is associated with the IOC, so they're working towards getting their fighters into Olympic competition. We got to meet the qualifying teams from Argentina, Bermuda, Canada, Brazil, Mexico, and of course the United States. And all of the athletes showed great respect, great sportsmanship. It was really a privilege to meet all these fighters and work with them. And there's a lot of excitement circulating about the resurgence of this sport coming back into California. Again, we are looking forward to working a lot of future events, sanctioning the Sanda fighting, and we're looking forward to really developing a relationship between the Muay Thai and the Sanda communities, getting that developed, because it's a platform where fighters can easily cross over, and it'll give them a lot more opportunities to fight. Then in the near future, we'll be hosting another IKF training for our officials. That'll be held the first weekend in October in Santa Clarita. So we're excited to be certifying a whole new generation of officials who are ready to get out there and work. So those are the highlights of what we did over the last few months, in addition to our report, and then of course the training that's coming up here in just a few weeks. So if you have any questions, I'll take those now.
Okay, thank you, Tony. Any comments from the commission or Andy?
Ms. Fossum, I have a few comments. I heard how wonderful your tournament was in Las Vegas, so I'm glad that was very successful.
Thank you.
I also I looked at your report, and it doesn't seem like your numbers are down to me from the additional. So it looks like you're still producing, IKF still producing a lot of events. So I was pleased about that. I will say, commissioners, Ms. Fossum and I had a conversation the other day on the Zoom, and with the additional sanction organizations that have been approved, this happens sometimes, is there's been some interesting bookings happening where one person will book and another person will book down the street, like very close, and that type of thing. And while it's always been my view not to get too involved in the markets, it's also not good for combat sports in general to cannibalize itself like that. So I'm keeping an eye on that, and Ms. Fossum and I talked about that. So I wanted to make the commission aware of that. Ms. Fossum, I'd also I'm a little bit, I knew about the Sonda, I knew about the one fight. If this is something that the IKF wants to continue further into, I would like to set up a meeting, and I'm saying this publicly because this got to come before the commission. I don't believe that Sonda is part of their delegation. And I have my own issues with Sonda, but it doesn't mean that it can't be. It's just, I know that's a fairly to me, that certainly if you don't know what you're doing, that's fairly dangerous. That's my view. And I know that the commission had a death with that back in, I believe it was 2006. So this is something that I just think we need to take a look at it and just bring it to the commission to add it to the delegation. But I'd certainly want to see the safety protocols and see what kind of throws are involved and see the rule set that's being used. I knew that about the one, I didn't know it was going to be an ongoing thing. Not trying to discourage you. I just would like to look at the IKF's rules and see that because that's a new one for us.
Right. And I absolutely agree with you. And a big part of the reason we were there is because the tournament was coming and they had nobody there to sanction. So your office thankfully referred them to us so that we could be there to help oversee. And so that organization has their own set of rules. So of course, when we went there, we initiated extra safety protocols because although we used to sanction Sanshou back in the day, which is almost identical to what this is, this particular sport hasn't been prominent in the state for quite a while. And my understanding from the promoters is that they would like to become more prominent, have more events and so forth. So I agree that that's something that we all need to sit down and review the safety protocols. I will say that I was very impressed with the event and the way that it ran and everything that they did have in place. But I don't think it would hurt to revisit and add a few extra protocols in there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony.
JT with Camo has joined Zoom. Vice Chair Dr. Williams.
Okay, so if JT is ready, we could go to him now and then we can come back to the last one. JT, I think you're muted.
You're muted.
There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. Sorry for the delay in getting on the Zoom. Good to see everybody. Following up on my report, it's been a very, very busy summer. I think we had 4 events just this weekend. One of them I highlighted a little bit in our brief, and we do a Fight for the Troops event every year. We did it out on 29 Palms Marine Base. As you can imagine, it was a very hot weekend to have an outdoor event, but and we appreciate our staff that goes out and works the events in less than favorable conditions, but it's important to give back. Special event, we get thousands of Marines that come out and are able to enjoy a little bit of an entertainment for them and provide some great competition for athletes as well. So that went well. I do let you know, if there ever is a chance that you'd like to see that, we'd invite you. It's just kind of a special event. It's only available there for the troops that are on base, and that's a special thing to see 1,000 of those active military being able to be entertained. It's one of those things we look for every year. It's a lot to pull off. It's a lot of sacrifice, but it's something that's, been a tradition here in California. We've been doing for almost a decade. So, wanted to let you know, we had another, since our last Zoom meeting, or actually it was in person, we had a great training again with CSAC, and I appreciate Andy Foster, Mark Relier, Sean Wells, the inspectors who helped put it on. But it's been really beneficial to be able to train side by side with CSAC. And I feel like that they're very productive when we get to train together. I think it creates camaraderie. I think it creates consistency in the application of our rules and regulations across amateur and professional. Helps stimulate that progression from amateur to pros. And we appreciate them, and we hope that we can continue to do those. And we hope that you felt our presence, because I think we had a great turnout there. As far as I think everything else is pretty self-explanatory. We've had a great safety record despite all the many events that we've done so far this year, and I'm open to any questions that you guys might have on the CAMO program.
Thanks, JT. Are there any questions from any of the commissioners? No? Okay, Andy, do you want to go to?
Okay, Tom, is Tom Henninger, is he on? Oh, he's in person.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm the Director of Training and an Administrative Assistant for Waco USA Kickboxing. Very happy to be here. I know you're not used to seeing my face. My brother has been working with you up until now, and he has stepped down. He decided to retire completely, so good for him, and here I am. I didn't know I'd be here on a historic day. This is really something with the Indian Nation here in California. Waco, you may be aware, you may not, has had quite a history with California, and that's why I'm really happy to be back with the Athletic Commission here, because Waco started in Europe in '76, but their first World Championships was in LA in '78, and you might know the name Mike Anderson, and he was the first gold medalist in Waco. And it figured really largely into California, as any international body has to do. We have to be operating in California. It's too big a piece of the puzzle for the United States, and we're very happy to have had the opportunity to come in here and show you how we operate, how our rule set operates with the continuous scoring, with all of the safety in place. And the opportunity that you've given us is wonderful. Your staff, I've worked with Patricia. I'm not a politician, so I don't remember names really well, but I see some faces here that I worked with also at some of our events. And it's always just been very professional and helpful. And we're really excited to be back in here with California. So what we've been doing, we're trying to ramp up as much as we can and get California involved in the national footprint in Waco, so that the international body can see what we're doing as well. We've had 19 bouts, 61 rounds. We did have 4 suspensions, 3 TKOs. And we did have an event in Vacaville. So I'm the Director of Training. I've written actually the training program for officials off of the international rule set. And I'm happy to say that 6 years ago, we had 5 Waco officials in the United States, and we now have just under 200. Many of the newer ones are from California, some very impressive people with a history in martial arts that can be a little intimidating when you're in front of them saying, here's my new program, I'm going to teach you, but they're all very gracious, of course, because that's how martial artists are. So the result of that is a lot of really fine California officials. I've just made my first ring instructor for officials, and he's from California, Dan Stell. So he's starting to now teach more officials here in California. And what we're seeing from the trajectory is that California is going to figure into the national program of WACO much bigger than probably any other state that we have operating. We're super excited to see that. Our community engagement, we've had regional, national, international competitions. I just got back from Hungary for the Junior World Championships. WACO has 143 countries involved, and 68 of them showed up there. The president of the International Olympic Committee was there, and the master from Japan that started K1 was there. So it was really something to meet them and to see what their viewpoint of kickboxing is. I know I don't have to go into the ins and outs of kickboxing in the Olympics with the commission here. I know you're very aware of what's been going on there, I'm sure. They are now looking to add it again as an adjunct sport in the LA Games coming up in 28. So that's very positive. I'm the one that made the pitch to the Olympic Committee in LA last year to include kickboxing, and as you know, we were edged out by a few sports, breakdancing being one of them, and that didn't. We wondered about that at the time, but if I can make an observation, you know, there's about $40 million pumped into that effort to get into the Olympics there. I'm not saying that had anything to do with it, but that didn't go very well. So that opens the door for us to make an appearance again and kind of speeds up that process for us again to make another run at the Olympic Committee. You may know that the International Olympic Committee has represented or has recognized WACO International as the organization that would provide kickboxers if and when we do get in the Olympics. So the WACO certificate holders from each country would be the pathway to the Olympics when that happens. So we take that very seriously. Our juniors are really coming up. I was happy to hear the IKF report. I completely agree with Tony about that, how super important it is to have the juniors coming up in the system and really progressing into those senior ranks, going on to the pros, and representing the country well on the international stage. So I'm still training a lot. We have also tatami sports, which is fighting on the mats, point fighting and things like that. And I've made 150 of those officials too, as well in the country. So our trajectory is like this. And we're very happy to be involved with the California Athletic Commission. I thank you very much for the opportunity to come and show you what we're about and to go through your process. I can share with you that it is not part of the WACO system to have inspectors, and to cross-train with you and to build inspectors and to see how that training program goes was very valuable for me. And it's just been a great partnership in that regard for me to see what the commission has to offer and what we can learn from you. I really appreciate that. We are now having officials that are cross-trained in the WACO continuous scoring and in Muay Thai, because we like our hybrid events here in California. I've noticed the Muay Thai and kickboxing. So we're going to have rather than trying to get officials from both of those things and trying to get them all there and switch officials crew, we're trying to have them all cross-trained in both of those events. And we're going to have the first one of those coming up September 27th in Vacaville, California. So I appreciate the positive feedback we've had working with the promoters, especially working with the representatives of the Athletic Commission has really been a very positive thing. And I thank you for that. And I would take any questions if you have them.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions or comments? The commissioners here? No? Commissioner Hendrickson, any question or comment from your side?
Nope, nothing on my side. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners, one of the things we do every now and again, and we have a lot of newer appointed commissioners is, you know, you see some of these folks at the events, but Mark invited some of the officials and some of the inspectors to come and meet you as part of the staffing update, so you can see them in a different setting, and they'll tell you a little bit about themselves, how long they've been with the commission, what that's, you know,
That's great.
how they're going, and we can just, Mark, if you want to start, you can just however you want to start it.
Sure.
I'll start it. As everyone knows, I'm Mark Relier. I'm the Chief Inspector of the State of California. I began with the commission in 2006. It's my honor to be here. Why don't we just go around the room systematically, introduce yourself, give your name, talk about how long you've been involved with the California State Athletic Commission. I'll start with you right over here, Damien. We have a lot of people, so keep it short and pass the mic when we're done. Thank you.
Damian Walton, I'm a judge for boxing. I also, judge kickboxing and Muay Thai. I've been with the commission since 2018, and it's been a great experience working with everybody. Great executive officer. Mark's been great. So it's been a pleasure. This is one of the greatest commissions in the world to me, and I enjoy working for him, and I look forward to moving forward working with the commission. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you for having us. My name is Christy Rosario. I'm a professional referee with the California State Athletic Commission. Really nice to see, and hopefully I'll get to meet everybody. I've been licensed since 2015. Before that, I had a international career as a referee, and I teach boxing at a couple of colleges. So I love boxing, and thank you for this opportunity. Take care.
Good morning. My name is David Sullivan. No, I'm not Irish. Anyways, I'm a licensed referee and official. I've been with the commission for approximately since 2016. Started off as an inspector. And like Chris was saying, and Damien, this is one of the best athletic commissions I can ever say. And I've met some of you guys, and Andy, you've been a great executive officer for the state commission, and we appreciate you on board.
Hello, I'm Ray Corona. I've been a referee since 1998, professional referee and judge sometime, but appreciate you guys and love my career. Thank you.
Good morning. Excuse me. Fernando Villarreal, judge for the state of California since 2010. It's an honor to be part of this commission. This commission is the best in the world, thanks to Andy and Mark.
Good morning. My name is Steve Quick. I'm a ref judge, lead inspector for CAMO, and to include combat jiu-jitsu. And that's been about 3 years. And I've been volunteering with CSAC as an inspector for the past year and a half. And it's been a pretty amazing ride. So grateful to be part of the team.
And commissioners, I just sent his paperwork over, so he should be being hired on soon.
Great.
Good morning. My name is Miguel Guillermo. I've been inspector since 2019. This probably has to be the best job. It's very awesome to meet everybody and continue to grow and learn with the commission.
My name is Bill Bodner. I started as a volunteer inspector for the commission in 2019 and worked in that position until 2022 when I went on the payroll. And I'm just so proud to be part of such a aggressive commission and one that's always looking to take the next step for fighter safety. So thank you for that.
Good morning. My name is Io Fern. I started volunteering with the commission since 2016. Then I got hired in 2019 and been here since. I love it. This is pretty much one of the best jobs I've had. So thank you for having us, though.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Good morning. My name is Ray Armendariz. I'm a professional boxing referee here with the State Athletic Commission. I've been a professional referee since 2018. And with the commission since 2021, I've had the pleasure or given the distinct pleasure of being a referee in other states as well as in Mexico. And definitely no other compares with the California State Athletic Commission, and I've been told so by them as well. Thank you for the opportunity to be here and working with the California State Athletic Commission.
Commissioners, just a moment on about Ray. This is a good, you'll appreciate this. As you remember, I know Dr. Williams remember, we were about to license Ray. We were about to license Ray. Had his paperwork ready, everything was, and then COVID hit. And so he had to wait another year, but glad you're with us.
Good morning. My name's Rudy Berrigan. I got with the commission in 2012 as an inspector, transitioned into being a referee and a judge, and I love it. Thank you guys very much for the opportunity. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Hi there, I'm Pam Hayashida. I've been a boxing judge for the past few years.
Good morning, commissioners. My name is Chris Leben. I started with Camo in 2016. The last few years I've been working for Camo and CSAC as a referee and judge. And, this is a sport that gave me my whole life, that made me who I am. And it's such an honor for me to be able to work with the best commission in the world and give back to the athletes, to the younger crowd that's coming up. So thank you.
I'm Cameron Frizzell, and as far as I know, I'm CSAC's newest potential official. Some of y'all may recognize me as I've spoken in front of the commission for the last few years, and this year Andy was gracious enough to give me the opportunity to start my refereeing career, and I have nothing but positive things to say about the commission and look forward to working with y'all more. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, commissioners, executive officer. My name is Talisa Parker. I'm an inspector with the California State Athletic Commission. I've been with the commission since 2018 as an inspector. Or a volunteer. I was promoted to an official employee in 2019 and promoted to a lead inspector last year. About this time, I ran my first event. So it's a pleasure to be a part of the team, and just the efficiency of the commission and the progression of the commission. I just appreciate all the leadership. Mark Wellier, our chief inspector, has done an amazing job in just training us up to be who we all have become, and I'm just grateful to be a part of that.
Good morning. Gene Valdez, I'm an inspector. I've been with the commission since 2019. Prior to that, I was a professional fighter, manager, trainer, and this is a great opportunity. I really appreciate with Mark and Andy been able to help me give back to our sport. Thank you.
Hello, good morning. Daniel Sandoval. I've been a licensed referee and judge since 2009. And I just like to thank, the commission and Pechanga, and, it's extra special for me being that with my heritage being a Native American myself, and my ancestry of Zuni and Mescalero Apache from the New Mexico, West Texas region. Just like to thank everybody. And I also have other family members that are tribal councils of other tribes. You get with Mark and Andy if you want to do other connections with other tribes. Thank you very much.
My name is George Cruz. I'm a professional judge for the California State Athletic Commission. I'm fairly new. I've only been doing this for a couple of years. I came to this late in life after I retired. I was a CEO, and I'm having the time of my life. I'm just enjoying the hell out of this. And I want to thank the commission for giving me the opportunity. Thank you.
My name is Thomas Taylor. I've been with the commission since 2010. Appreciate the strong leadership, the trickle-down effect all the way to our inspectors, and camaraderie I have with my other officials.
Cardinal Sperrigan. I've been with the commission for about 2 years. No relation to Rudy Berrigan or any of the Berrigans in San Diego.
Well, anyways, my name is George Valdez. I'm an official through CSAC. They saved me for doing this. My dream was always to be a CSAC official. I've been around the martial arts since 1970. And I just want to thank you, Andy, for believing in me. Everybody else, God bless you. Don't count the days, make the days count.
Yeah, I don't want to step on the toes of anyone else who wants to speak, but I literally have goosebumps right now. Neurologically, we call that frisson. It's a sympathetic response. But what it means is that you connect to something. It's something happens to you that is meaningful to you, and your physiology will tell you it's meaningful to you because you will get goosebumps. And I've got goosebumps right now. Listening to all of you, we talked earlier about Commission of the Year, 10 years running. And I congratulated Andy. Everyone else up here congratulated Andy, and he deserves all of that congratulations. But it's you all who make this work. I mean, he can't do this. He can't do what he does. We can't do what we do without you. We literally stand on the shoulders of giants, right? And the collective fund of knowledge, the institutional knowledge in this room, each of you talking about how you've been with the commission for this many years, some of you just coming along, but it is fantastic. And I just want to say from my standpoint, how much we appreciate each and every one of you, the people who are making this work behind the scenes. We appreciate it. It's amazing. And I'm so glad that you and Mark suggested that we do this. I think this was phenomenal. I'm going to stop because other commissioners may have words to say.
Doctor, I think you said that very well for all of us. It's an honor to be working with you. We learn a lot at every event, and there's such a diverse group. It really is inspiring. So, thank you, and please don't ever hesitate to come up to any of us and ask us what we can do for you to help you in any way as well, too. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know if you realize how well respected you are around the country. I mean, I travel a lot for business, and I'll go visit events in other states, or people come here to visit. And the thing I hear all the time is, man, why don't we have something like this? People come to the events, and the term I hear all the time is a well-oiled machine. But I hear that from athletes all the time, that they are jealous that they don't have something like you all in their state. So I don't know if you realize how well-regarded and recognized you are. And to me, I mean, for you to be recognized by the athletes is kind of the highest honor, because as like Chris knows, you being an athlete, sometimes you don't have the nicest things to say about the officials. So when they say it, they mean it.
I just want to dovetail onto all the comments. I have so much respect and joy watching you all work. I get to come to these events and ask silly questions and get lost in the back and all those things. But I'm actually watching you all pretty closely, and I'm learning a lot about your sport by seeing how well you conduct yourselves in what I have found to be some just absolutely chaotic, stressful situations. There's a lot of personalities I run into at those fights. There's a lot of people who aren't happy in the moment when you're all doing your jobs. But every time I check in with Andy about the work you're doing, it's really clear that what you're doing is you're keeping these fighters safe. And they have to trust in you that you're going to provide them the dignity of a safe working environment. I know that's sometimes hard for folks to understand that in an inherently dangerous sport, you're there to keep these athletes safe. And so thank you for all you do to keep these athletes safe and for making this such a fun honor to be a part of. Thank you.
Commissioner Hendrickson, any words or comments from your standpoint?
No, other than, look, what you guys said is the truth. I mean, well said on your guys' end in regards to all the kudos, acknowledgments, and the respect. But couldn't be happier to hear these things, and very well said. That's about it.
Great. Sir, now we'll move to the upcoming event schedule. without saying exactly what it is, I would ask the commissioners to probably pencil in December 21st at the Staples Center. I guess they call it crypto now for your schedules. I anticipate something in November. I don't have a firm date on that one yet. If you're down in San Diego, Commissioner DeMars, the December 13th, that we're going to run Cage Warriors at Sequan, which is also a tribal. And that's a nice event. For up north, December 14th, we're running Scott Coker's new promotion at San Jose Tech. So, and they sold that thing out last time. So, that's one that you should maybe consider. Oh, and then we were at Saboba the other day. I met with the tribal chairman, and it was a very, very nice event. And they've worked and booked another event on October the 25th. So just wanted to have that. The rest of the schedules here you can see, but I just want you to pencil those dates in for your schedule. Sir, that concludes my report.
Mr. Chair, if we may, USA Boxing did not provide a report during the meeting, but they did submit a written report. If Mr. McAtee has not had an opportunity to join us on Zoom, perhaps the commission without objection could receive the written report as USA Boxing's report for this meeting.
Do we need to take a motion and vote on that?
You could just make it part of the record without objection. And if any commissioners object, they can voice your objection.
Okay, so I would say without any objection, we would do as stated, accept the written report as that for USA Boxing in lieu of an in-person report from Mr. McAtee. Okay. All right, so I think the next item on the agenda is public comment on items not on the agenda. So if there is any public comment, let's start with those of us in the room. Anyone have any public comment items not on the agenda? Okay, and then let's open it up to our Zoom participants. Any public comment from Zoom participants, items not on the agenda?
If you are on Zoom and wish to make a public comment, now is the time to raise your Zoom hand. As a reminder, public comments are limited to 2 minutes. Vice Chair Dr. Williams, I see no hands raised on Zoom for public comments.
Okay. So we will move on. I have, at this point, the next commission meeting will be Monday, December 9, 2024, the location to be determined. Is that right, Andy?
Yes, sir. I'm thinking we usually go up north in the last meeting of the year. So I'm thinking we could get the same, we can try to get the same room at DCA that we had, if that's works for you.
That works. And I don't, unless there are any objections from anyone else. Is that easier than the Capitol?
Yes, sir. The Capitol takes a legislative member to request it. I could probably get it, but it was easier when Dean Grafilo was the chief for Rob Bonta because because of the relationship. Yeah.
Okay, so I think that would be fine if we could get it, but that would be determined and announced and.
But if you would prefer the Capitol, I can get it.
It was just a question. Sometimes, I mean, it's a little festive during that kind of time of year. Sometimes there's carolers and, you know, so on and so forth, but.
Get it.
Okay, it's, let me look into it. I know the Capitol's under pretty heavy construction right now because the annex. Yeah.
Okay. All right, with that being said, I think we are done. I want to thank everyone for coming. thank everyone for participating, specifically thank all of our inspectors and judges and referees who've come as well. And did you have another?
I was going to say before we call the meeting to an end, maybe we would invite all of our inspectors and judges up here to take a photograph with
I
us.
think that's a great idea.
As part of this commemorative day.
Okay. You get everybody aligned. So yeah, let's do that. Let's adjourn the meeting and then come and take the